Scott, we got 2 hammers from Cameron. Thank you very much. He says, been on the bottom of the league for a few years now. Started listening to you guys this off season, and with your advice, completely revamped my team. 6-0 and in first for the first time ever. Okay, so we've got a 12-team, 1 QB, half PPR start 8, Scott. Kyler, A-Rich at quarterback, Mixon, Aaron Jones, Dowdle, Spears, and almost every backup in the league at running back. Wide receivers are Chase, Lamb, Amon-Ra, Olave, Juju, Douglas. Well, we know what happened to good old Juju. Laporta and Njoku at tight end. 26 and 27 seconds, so no first. Low activity league, no playoffs, so the winner is decided by record. Starting running backs are nearly impossible to trade for in this league, so mostly been streaming, considering the Mixon and Jones injuries. Just looking for moves. So to clean this up, Scott, it's a 12-team, 1 QB, half PPR start 8. So ultra shallow. Ultra shallow. We know what he needs to do in terms of consolidating, but running backs are at least unattainable. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I think the most interesting part about this, we don't see this very often. If anything, I've never played in a league like this, so it's even new to me, but it spurs thoughts in my head of go to the second part so everybody can see.
So right here, low activity.
No playoffs.
Yeah.
So just everybody think about how you would treat a league differently if there were no playoffs. Every week counts the same. There is no, and the reason why like a punt running back strategy kind of works is because the back half of the season or the playoff weeks are weighted way more. All you have to do is get there, right? But we also know that there's a pretty good chance that Joe Mixon or Aaron Jones may not even make it to week 16 or 17.
Sure. Yeah.
But that can work in your advantage if you can use them to get there. And then you have the reinforcements to buy a replacement, which the replacement could be Dameon Pierce and Ty Chandler, right? Like they could be almost 1-for-1 replacements for those guys in week 16 or 17. And you don't have to actually buy them until later on when you actually see that they're the replacements. Here, every week is weighted the same, which tells me the league is correct in saying, why would you ever sell like a Saquon or a Derrick Henry? Because their week 1 smash is just as important as their week 17 smash, which makes it the week-to-week predictability of those guys way more valuable than they would be if you can kind of lean into, because this team, if you had a playoffs, all you'd have to do is get there with the likes of Kyler, your dog shit old running backs, Chase, Lamb, Amon-Ra, right? And then Njoku or Laporta. They could get you to the playoffs. Then it's like, can I maneuver with roster construction? Maybe it's Tajay Spears in week 16 that I can start. Like then you could win with those guys. Here, if you try to do that, you try to lean into the fade running backs or, I can just stream tight end. You're going to fall behind everybody else because you have to win. You have to win week to week games. So I kind of feel like this team is good enough if you're just starting Kyler and those receivers every week, and you ride Mixon and Jones until they're gone. They may, and you know what the funny thing is, they may not go anywhere. You may get lucky and they last most of the season. But I think the key is you have to be prepared. What can this team do, Clay, when they do run into a roadblock? How can they fix it? You got to be prepared to move Chris Olave for something that you need. Move Laporta or Njoku and one of those seconds. If you want to really, really get to the end, you probably have one dart that you can fire. And I don't know when you want to shoot it. I don't know if there's a trade deadline. He doesn't say. But I'm probably sitting there looking at like, don't make that move until I have to. Because I think this team can probably survive until you're like, ooh, I don't know if I could survive the next month or so. And that's going to matter as much as all the wins I've already stacked up.
Sure. I'll just add in one more thing. When I was putting these banners together, the whole no playoffs, so winner decided by record that you were talking about, I was glad to see that Cameron didn't have a 25 first or a 26 first, because this is the type of format, type of league where it's like, take my first and then, like you said, patch it together thereafter, but seems to know what he's doing in terms of getting.
Well, and envision, here's another thing to envision. What's going to be the motivation of some of the teams when you get to week 11 and they're 2-8?
Yeah. They're not even.
They can't win. They cannot win. So you've forced them into, they're now going to be interested in a transaction. Whereas, hell, even if, let's just say Cameron is 10-1, the team that's 6-5 isn't beating him, right? Like
exactly.
They have to
it's
win.
done. Like you're
They have to
mathematically
catch
done. Yeah.
4 games in 6 weeks. So, I mean, it's going to be pretty clear. It isn't just I need to get to the playoffs and then it's a 3-week race head to head. It is, dude, if I'm 3 games back with 5 left, that team, even if they're the 4th best team in the league, they're punting. They can't win.
Nope.
So towards the end, it should be very much a buyer's market, but you better have the assets to buy from. Hell, this might be a league, Clay, where the 3rd place team is buying out the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th and getting all their studs, because those 3 teams probably can't catch the top 3. So just the dynamic in the market is so different. Great question. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks indeed. And thank you, Tegan M, for this hammer. This is an interesting format. 16-team, 1 QB, PPR, no tight end premium, start 8. Daniel Jones, Watson at quarterback. Okay. Dobbins, Chase Brown, Warren, Pacheco at running back, Chase, Neighbors, Higgins, JSN, Wilson, and Sutton at wide receiver, Kelsey, Goddard at tight end, all 25 picks. Won the league last year. Congrats on that. Want to make a push again this year, but not sure where to take the team. Any suggestions on upgrades or moves to make? Low activity league. So that's always a thing. And we ask for that info on our Google form. Scott, just real quick, 16-team, 1 QB, PPR, no tight end premium, start 8. Won it last year. What are we doing right now?
How do you think this team's doing thus far? Just ballpark it by looking at the roster.
I mean, 3 and 4.
I don't know, man. I think your quarterbacks are, one is basically deceased and the other one is not good, but it's a 16-teamer. So if you've just started Daniel Jones every week,
yeah, he was good pretty much.
He's at least kept up with the Joneses, no pun intended. He's given you replacement level QB play, right? You've probably started J.K. Dobbins and Chase Brown every week because you don't have anybody better. Jalen Warren's done you a favor and he's missed or been irrelevant for most of the year. So you probably haven't even been tempted to play him. So I bet you this team, if you just have said, I've started J.K. Dobbins and Chase Brown all year, probably pretty good. And again, relative to a 16-teamer, I bet you this isn't the worst running back room in a 16-teamer. There's other teams that are going, shit, my running backs are terrible. And then you have Chase, Neighbors, Higgins. If you've started, I bet you this team's probably pretty good. It's just, where do you want to attack? What is the weakness on this team? The weakness may eventually be running back. Quarterback, definitely a spot you could upgrade in a start 8. The fact you're starting Daniel Jones, you're probably in the bottom 25% at quarterback every single week. There's teams that probably have, if not Daniel Jones or better, they have 2 Daniel Joneses they could stream between. So all you have is right. 1. So you probably have to pay to upgrade at quarterback. Everything else, you're going to get Pacheco back. You're just starting Michael Wilson or JSN. You're just living with whatever they give you, but it's Chase, Neighbors, Higgins. Like those guys I like this team. I think you just got to be prepared to pay for an upgrade in one spot, whatever it is. And I think you're fine.
We got 3 hammers from T-Dubs. This is a 12-team Superflex PPR, 1.5 for the tight end, start 11. So if you're new listening to us, start 10, start 11, all of that. That's how many players you start each week, not including kicker and defense. So if it's 8, 9, that's what we call really shallow. You just want hammers. 10 is what we use as our baseline. And then 11 is where kind of the randos are actually relevant because they're in your lineup. So 3 hammers from T-Dubs. Thank you very much. 12 teams. Yeah, again, 12-team Superflex, start 11. Herbert, T-Law, J.J. McCarthy, and backups at quarterback. Swift, P. Ryan, Colts backups, and Cans at running back. J.J. Chase, Puka, Ayuk, BTJ, Devontae, Addison, and then also Wicks there. Ferguson, Conklin, Taysom, no 25 picks. Here comes a trade that he made. Gave 2 late 25 firsts, 1 early 25 second, got JJ. So, got Justin Jefferson, gave 2 late 25 firsts and 1 early 25 second. And this is a 12 by 11. You have any issue with this, man? Let's look at the team again to see if it was worth it, if they're good enough to make moves like that. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I mean, it's a good deal for Jefferson, regardless of the format. Start 11, that's a place where you still okay doing a 2-for-1. It's not going to kill you. I know you gave up a second as well. But you also have J.J. McCarthy, too. And if you really believe in him, you're stacking Jefferson with McCarthy. You have 2 other quarterbacks that you could probably recoup a first for Herbert or T-Law in a deal if you wanted somewhere. So you have another piece you could move off. I'm fine with it. I know it's 3 hammers, but dude, you got the top asset in Dynasty aside from a couple quarterbacks. Right. And you added him to Chase and Puka and BTJ and Devontae Smith. And you could easily move Ayuk for something else if you want. You have
he's perfect at tight end.
Yes.
He's perfect at tight end in terms of just a 1.5, right? He's just doing his thing there.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it. There was a couple more parts here that I didn't read this yet. Yeah, JJ hit the trade block, and I had a Shane moment and had to have it.
It's not a Shane moment. It's just a good deal. You know what I mean? It's a Shane.
Good deal. Yeah,
Shane's very smart, but a Shane moment would be 3 firsts, and one of them's early, and my team's tanking, and I had to just get Jefferson. It's like,
and then JJ's gone 30
and
hours.
then he pivoted from JJ to Brian Thomas and a 26 first. All of a sudden, you're going, wait a second. I just traded 3 firsts for these 2 pieces. Yeah. Okay. Continue.
Yeah. That's why it's manic and chill. So have an offer of Addison for Monty. Okay. Do I sell from my wide receiver / future picks to address other needs? Use BTJ to tier up at quarterback? Hoard them like smog? I don't get the reference personally. Appreciate your thoughts. Okay. So it looks like Monty is not on the team. So have an offer where he would get Monty, right? Giving Addison, yes. Addison's currently on the team. So give Addison, get Monty, and this is again, still start 11, Superflex start 11.
I don't know his record, but if this team was 3-4, 2-5, I'm okay doing that because you're trading from your excess and you're not completely out of it for this year, right? This team isn't the favorite to win, but there's nothing worse than taking a season of Chase, Jefferson, and Puka and Brian Thomas, which we think Brian Thomas is great, but Brian Thomas is on pace for 1,300 yards. This might be one of his best seasons. Doesn't it kind of suck? I mean, I bet you have a couple teams like this, Clay. Doesn't it suck to have a team that has Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and Brock Bowers, and it's not contending?
Yeah,
it might be a contender, but your plan wasn't to go for it. And then I look up, I have a team with exactly those 3 players. And I've kind of played it coy, you know what I mean? But then I look and I'm like, I'm 6-1. What the fuck am I doing?
Go.
I should be pushing in. I have 3. This could be the best season of Brock Bowers' career. And you're waiting till next year as he matures on your roster. You know what I mean? This team's too good to say I don't care about this year. So if Addison for Monty is a win now move, go for it.
Look at the current room. Swift, P. Ryan, Colts backups, and trash. Other than that, this is a gift. Like you said, it's from his excess. What is he? He's wide receiver on this team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wide receiver 6 or 7, let's call it.
I mean now that you Chase, Puka, BTJ, and Smitty, you can afford to dump an injured Ayuk and Addison for stuff that helps you. And you know what? If it doesn't help you win the title this year and you're worried about the Monty next year, who cares? You know what I mean? You can take a little bit of a
Dynasty today. Yeah. Okay. So we got a hammer from DTI5 is number 1. Thank you very much. So this is a 16 team, 1 QB PPR, no tight end premium, 0.2 point per carry. So every rush attempt, and normally it's with quarterbacks too, but every rush attempt is 0.2 and it's a start 8. So we have Josh Allen, Darnold at quarterback, B-Rob, Pacheco, and Trash at running back, Marv, Olave, Cup, Pittman, Jacoby at wide receiver, McBride, and Goddard at tight end. As a 25-second, all 26 picks. What level running back / wide receiver would you need to consider moving Allen, who's 22.8 points per game, and rolling with Darnold, 19.5 points per game in this format? Here's a big part. 4 point per pass TD. Mid-activity league, undervalues quarterbacks and overvalues picks. So undervalues quarterbacks, is that a shocker first off in a 16-team 1 QB? Kind of middle of the road, right?
No, because it's still a 1 QB.
Okay.
So undervalues quarterbacks probably relates to just the average Joe quarterback. So I think that like what's probably driving this question is exactly what it was. The difference between Josh Allen and Sam Darnold. And what is that versus, like, I'm guessing Sam Darnold can't be traded for shit, right? Like he's more valuable immediately when you've hit on him on your team than you put him on the block. And what you're probably getting offered for him is something that you couldn't even start. So that's where you pivot to, okay, what is Josh Allen worth? I mean, it is very much a binary decision. It's a start 8. Like if I'm trading Josh Allen, I almost need to be able to measure, am I getting the positional advantage in whatever I'm getting? Because I'm flexible. If you're telling me I'm going to upgrade from Michael Pittman to Jamar Chase, sure. I'll do it. But I need an equivalent positional advantage relative to the 4 positions that you can start. And I don't see anybody paying for that. They're wanting the deal someone's probably looking at for Josh Allen is like, here, I'll give you Dak Prescott and David Montgomery. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Where you're like, okay, I can start those guys, but I don't need Dak Prescott because I can just play Sam Darnold, which is the whole premise of the question. So yeah, I think it's got to be, it's almost got to be, like you said, it's got to be almost like a super flex value on Josh Allen. I need Jamar or Justin, or I need Jahmyr Gibbs. Like I need that type of asset. Otherwise, I'm not interested.
Exactly. Because if the league undervalues quarterbacks and you're not going to get proper, like you said, there's like Dak and Monty for Josh Allen. No, I'm not moving them, and overvalues picks. And you still said you have a 25-second and all 26 picks. And I don't want to get too flippant here, but if you need to spend picks since they're so overvalued, then take a peek at it. Oh no, that's just my last thoughts there. Thank you very much for the hammer. All right, so let's go to Eric B. Thank you for yours. This is a 10-team Superflex, 1.5 for the tight end, start 14. Okay, so Scott, what does that work out to be in terms of 12-team?
140, 11.6.
Yeah, I was about to say 11. Yep. Okay, so 10-team Superflex, 1.5, start 14. Gutter Bags and Company. Oh, yeah, I remember this guy.
There we go.
Penix, Daniel Jones. I'm not going to be able to make it through this shit. Penix, Daniel Jones at quarterback. Trey Benson, Tucker in trash. Leggett, QJ in trash. A wide receiver, Eric All. Inbox offer, get a late. What is this? Get all late. Okay. Get a late 25-second, third, fourth, giving Leggett, Tucker, and Eric All. I like the players I'm giving away in this trade, so I'm really hesitant to hit accept, but I think it's not a bad deal from a process standpoint. Thoughts? So 10-team Superflex, start 14. Inbox, you're getting a late 25-second, a third, and a fourth. You're giving Leggett, Tucker, and Eric All.
On the surface, I would say if you already had there's 2 circumstances where this deal is fine. If I already have a built out roster and I'm just kind of trading from my mid or my excess to just liquidate for picks, because in a 10 team, probably I don't want to say they're equivalent to these players on waivers, but I bet you there's something closer to another Sean Tucker on waivers that you don't see yet, that the league doesn't value yet, but you could put in Sean Tucker's spot and you got a third for him. Same with Eric All. There's probably another tight end you can pick up where nobody's rostering, but you kind of got the same bet. Now, there's that, and then there's Eric's situation where his team doesn't exist. And in that case, I almost kind of don't hate doing this either, because your team doesn't exist. What you have here, how far away is this team from even having a team?
Give me the picks.
2 years?
Give me the picks.
Like
all day.
It's almost like
that back. Give me the flexibility.
And I think it's fair to say all 3 of these players, while they've proven that they're NFL players, right? None of the 3 are probably going to be in a situation where, holy shit, I just traded the next stud.
Damn.
So what did you whiff on by re-rolling for more flexibility?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're I think if you need these players would be the one situation where I'd go, I'm not going to do it, but I think in his spot, I'd be willing to do it.
Love it. Caleb got us 3 hammers, and Caleb, let me know if you did not. If you had a trade attached to it. I couldn't find it in the Google form or on the site. It says, love tuning into the stream every week. So as of right now, I'm considering this to be a donation to the channel. Thank you very much. So let's go to Dylan. He got us a hammer. 12-team Superflex, half PPR, full PPR for the tight end, start 11. Lamar, Caleb, Gino at quarterback. Lamar, Caleb, Gino, and backups at quarterback. Gibbs, Brooks, Vidal, Kendre, Zamir White, and Tucker at running back. Garrett Wilson, Neighbors. That's disrespectful. Garrett Wilson, Neighbors, Devontae Smith, Jamo, Addison, Polk at wide receiver. Bowers likely at tight end. 325 firsts, calling them all mid to late. All 26 firsts. Okay. Gave Kincaid for Addison a 25 second. Okay, so start with that because it looks like, this is a whole different other trade. Gave Kincaid, you got Addison and a 25 second. Let's call it mid.
So it's a half and a full PPR. I probably would still take the Kincaid side there, but that's fine. I mean, especially if Addison's a liquid asset, that's totally fine. The second deal, I was already looking at the second deal. I mean, you destroyed this deal. Come on.
Yeah, so traded A-Rich and 225 seconds for Gino and 225 firsts. My goodness. 4 and 3 with third most points for moves, and says specifically send Brooks, Jamo, and a 25 first for Walker. I'm
fine doing that too. You basically paid the first second tax, and you've upgraded Walker from Brooks and Jamo to DJ Moore, and you, especially if that's like a 109 for a 205, you know what I mean? It's not even a full round. So yeah, I'm fine doing both those deals. That's a savvy move.
House money, dude. House
those
money. Those
3 trades, I bet you if you put what he started with to what he ended with, you'd be like, dude, you really never even paid anything. You got stuff for free.
No doubt. Connor, thank you for the 3 hammers. And we're going to go to 345 is the goal. And we're going to try to smash through some here to get done with this hopper. 3 hammers from Connor. Thank you very much. This is a 10-team Superflex. Start 2 tight end, tiered PPR. That's 1.75 for them. I'll clean this up afterwards and explain that this is a significant format.
Yeah, I'm reading through them too. So just rip through it. We're good.
Cool. Lamar, Stroud at quarterback. Bijan, Saquon, Henry, Connor at running back. CD, Marv, Evans, Olave, Waddle, JSN, Rome, stack team. Bowers, Kittle, Andrews at tight end. 225 firsts and a 26 firsts. Feel like I have a strong team, but a few underperforming wide receivers have me nervous. He's probably talking about like Olave and Waddle maybe. And feel like I'm losing an arms race versus the defending champ, and lays out a nice team. It says tier ups are expensive. Thoughts on how to try to get the ship here. So this is a 10-team Superflex. Okay, start 12, 2 of which are tight ends. And tiered PPR means that it's graduated in terms of PPR for running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. And then a 0.2 for every rush attempt. What are you doing here, Scott?
I mean, the tight ends you're smashing. You know, you have Kittle and Bowers. You have the top 2 tight ends. You have Lamar Jackson, so I can't imagine the other team, even though he has Allen. Like Allen and Purdy, Lamar versus Stroud. I mean, you're still winning Lamar versus Stroud, or Lamar versus Allen in there. You have Saquon and Henry and Bijan. So, I mean, it truly does feel like an arms race where, every one of your receivers is disappointing, but so is Jonathan Taylor. So is Sam Laporta.
And this is on the other team, what Scott is talking about.
So if that's what you're comparing yourself to, I mean, sure. Can you add a first to one of your underperforming receivers and get somebody better? I mean, I only think you need one move. Your team is going to win or lose based on Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson. Like the difference between CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra, or Marv and, you know, whatever he's rolling out at his wide receiver 4 isn't going to make or break you, but you have the excess to be able to fix one problem. The problem is every one of his receivers is underperformed. And now Evans is injured, and that was his best one. So, I mean, I get why he's feeling that. But listen, you got to bank that Waddle turns it around with Tua and Olave comes back. Like, it's a long season, bro. Like, if all those receivers all suck, you may lose. But what are you supposed to do? Add a first to CD to get Justin Jefferson? You know what I mean?
No
It's
way.
just not feasible. Like, you have to have some faith in players that, are going to at least get you back to where you expected or close to it.
Yeah, if this team runs even close to pure, I mean, if it doesn't win it, then, yeah, shit happened. And you've got 225 first and a 26 first in a 0.2 point per carry. I love me some 25 first. So,
or what about this, Clay?
Yeah.
Would you send on this team, knowing what you know, would you send Marvin Harrison straight up for Nico Collins? You have Stroud. You're forced to play Stroud every week. But that's the kind of deal.
No, yeah, I mean, maybe, right? Because Nico doesn't suck. Yeah.
I guarantee you could get that trade done, but I bet you Connor is hesitant to send that because it's the all hail God Marvin Harrison, and you can't do the deal. You know what I mean? But I guarantee there's a fix. So I don't think it's going to cost you a tear up to go from Marv to Nico Collins, but most people wouldn't send that deal because they're stuck on their priors, right? But then they're bitching about the priors when they're not working. But when they're not working and you have them and you want to sell, you can't move. So pick a lane.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you're trying to win a championship, so if that could make a difference, then there you go. Luke, thank you for the hammer. 10-team, 1QB, PPR, no tight end premium, start 8. So ultra shallow. Like, if we find any depth that we can package, like, let's go to try to tear up. Daniels, Baker, Dak, Fields at quarterback, and this is a 1QB. Brees, B-Rob, Chase Brown, Moss, Eckler at running back, CD, Amon-Ra, Flowers, Rashi Rice, Mooney, Shakir. Then has Hawkinson, Kmet, and Taysom at tight end. No 25 picks. The question is, give B-Rob and Keon Coleman. You're getting T. Higgins and Judy. Mid-activity, nobody values QB, which is why I have 4. Okay. I have the second most points for, but sitting at 3 and 4. One last year. Well, congrats on that. Again, super shallow, 10-team, 1QB, start 8, Scott. Giving B-Rob and Keon, getting T and Judy. So grossly lateral, no?
T's the best player in the deal, but I think in this type of shallow format, B-Rob probably holds a little more weight than just another receiver that's, top 20, but not top 10.
It is a full PPR. Does that matter here?
He is definitely a starter here, so I'm trying to get him, but getting Jerry Jeudy back in the deal does nothing. That's just a piece that makes it look like a 2 for 2. Can I get a second instead of Jerry Jeudy? And I know it's a second, but at least that's something I could tack on to something else to fix another mistake. Maybe I can tack the second onto Rashee Rice down the stretch to pick up, I don't know, a Puka type player. You know what I mean? Like a deal where somebody's now motivated to make it 5 weeks from now that they wouldn't be motivated to make today. I'd rather have a second in that case than have Mooney, Shakir, and Judy on my bench. None of them are startable.
Yep.
Can I convert a couple of those into picks? And I'd be willing to do that deal.
Yeah. And has no 25 picks at all. So
gives you zero flexibility on that roster already. Yeah.
JJ, thank you for the hammer. Appreciate it. Scott, let's smash here. 12-team Superflex, PPR, 1.5 for the tight end, start 9. We have May, Bo Nix at quarterback, Estime, Ray Davis, Vidal, Herbert at running back, Chase, Nico, Waddle, Shaheed, Ridley, and Ladd at wide receiver, Cade Stover, Wiley, and Theo Johnson at tight end. 425 first, and JJ is saying 2 were early. Also has 226 first, and that he should be the 101. The question is, and Scott's already shaking his head, should I bother trying to address tight ends or RB2 this year or wait until the offseason? Should I be trying to target Godwin and Ayuk? Both teams, are competing. Go ahead. 12 by 9. What are you doing here?
I mean, you have a nice foundation.
Tight end and RB2. Sorry.
No, you have a nice foundation. You have May, you have Chase, you have Nico. Like, those are fine. I'm totally for moving any of Ladd, Ridley, even Waddle, if I can get Godwin or Ayuk or whoever the next receiver or running back that goes down, especially receivers. I mean, there's one every week, Clay, that Ayuk and Godwin were worth X, and then as soon as they're injured, it's like, can I get anything for them?
They're
And
not
it's
worth
not
shit.
it's not wrong.
Until
Like,
after
I've
the
traded
draft.
Ayuk for James Conner in a third. It's what can I do with it right now? And you have the advantage of not caring about the right now. So Ridley, Ladd, honestly, like Ray Davis tacked onto one of those deals, a second tacked onto, whatever it takes. I'm going after Godwin. I'm going after Ayuk. It's going to help your potential points. So yes. And what are you going to address at tight end right now?
No,
the tight end market
this
is so flat.
blow up,
Wait
if
till
anything.
next offseason when somebody doesn't want next year's like Jake Ferguson and just fill it then. That's what I'm doing. Don't worry about it. Same with running back.
Yeah. I got 425 first and a couple 26s. You should be the 101. Just don't like buy any tight ends or running backs. No way. Okay.
I'm feeling good. We can go to 4, Clay. Let's go to 4. Give the people a little extra time.
Yeah, we have just a couple more hammers. Appreciate that, man. So Yak gave us 3 of them. This is and thank you very much. It's a 10-team, 1 QB, PPR, 1.5 for the tight end, start 9. Okay, so still very shallow. Kyler Purdy at quarterback, Gibbs, Rashad White at running back, Wilson, Devontae Smith, Pittman, JSN, and Waddle, and then has McBride, Pitts, and Trash at tight end. 425 first and all of Yak's picks. 4 and 3. Feel like I'm in the position to either coast into the playoffs and immediately lose, or make a couple good moves to be an actual contender. Been acquiring first. Let's see, and lays out a couple trades there. There's an inbox offer. Receive Ayuk, give Pittman and the 26 second. 10-team, 1 QB, start 9. Receive Ayuk.
Dude, I've moved Ayuk for Pittman because I think they're both like, in a way, Pittman is just Ayuk now because he's unplayable, but they're both going to need stuff to be beneficial to them in the future to be playable. And I actually think Pittman's just as good as Ayuk. If they were both playing and in the situation where you would want them both to be, like, they're almost the same thing. So if you told me, and there's a chance that on your team, Pittman is actually more valuable sooner because he's healthy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Flacco gets in there the second half of the year, you're pissed off that you did that trade. So having to pay the tax on top of Pittman to get an injured Ayuk doesn't make sense for this roster. I do agree. 4 and 3, this team does have enough assets to. This is one of those where you should consult with Shane, because Shane would definitely help you blow a couple of those first. Going, why am I sitting on my hands? I'm not losing in the first round. Like, let me go buy a hammer. I don't know what hammers are available, but you could just tack on. This is probably a team where, can you get a running back hammer? Can you go get a Saquon, even if it costs you, too late first, something like that? Like, I'm willing to make one move, and if it doesn't work out, my roster is young enough and I have enough insulation where I'm fine just rolling into next year with my team.
Yeah, and it's 10-team, 1 QB, start 9. We've talked about this before, how the rebuilds and stuff should be a lot shorter anyway. So
when it's 1 QB, if I give up the 107 and the 108,
they aren't worth a damn thing. Yeah.
I'm wrong, but be realistic with what you're getting with those picks. Now, the alternative would be if you can end up getting all of the picks because you already have 4 of them, you're probably guaranteed to get another Malik Neighbors. And you know what I mean? Like, you're going to get a stud or 2 out of it. Yeah.
Good shit. Okay. We only have, we have like 3 more. So Pierre W with the hammer. Thank you very much. This is a 12-team super flex. PPR 1.5 for the tight end, start 10. So kind of the middle of the road. And when you see 0.5 tight end premium, that's kind of a fake one. Kyler May, Dimes at quarterback. Ray Davis, Tracy, Corum at running back. We do have Neighbors, Puka, BTJ, JSN, Pearsall, and then Bowers and Likely at tight end. 325 first, 1 early, his mid, and then a late. This is a startup year, 1 and 6 with top 4 max points for. Can't get a third for Dimes. Hard to part with the other young assets. Ride it out and accept the fact that it's going to be a mid first or sell. I don't know. Okay. Pierre, thank you very much. Again, this is kind of mid-road, 12-team Superflex, start 10. Scott, You got picks that are spanning the first round. What are you doing here?
I mean, I like this team. You're definitely a year away, hence you're 1-6, but there's a couple little things that you can do here. I mean, listen, you may not be able to get a third for Danny Dimes, but can you get Rashid Shaheed for Danny Dimes? You never know. The person may not want to give up picks, but they're willing to give up an injured player. Ayuk and Godwin are in play for the JSN share that, that would be another one where you might be able to go to somebody. Think of this, Clay. I can go to somebody with JSN. Let's say DK misses this week. JSN goes 7 for 80. You hope he has a good game, right?
Right.
You might be able to get JSN for Godwin in a second, for Ayuk in a second, something like that. Shaheed in a second. Now you have a second that you can turn around and package with something else, maybe Danny Dimes, to get something else. And just the absence of Danny Dimes and JSN off your roster could go from the 104
to the
103 or the 102, and you don't change at all your core. Your core is Kyler and May and Neighbors and Puka and BTJ and Brock Bowers and your first. And you go into next year with 3 firsts, a couple seconds, and those 6 players, you're a contender right away. Yeah. Doesn't matter what else you do. So that's what I'd be trying to do the rest of the season. You got to grind, man. You got to be creative. You got to be willing to lead and dive into the stuff that other people don't want. When you don't care about the season, that is the biggest message to everybody in here. If you have a team that's not good, you need to think about the teams that I have that are good. What is the shit I'm trying to get rid of because it's not helping me?
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
That.
Yeah. That's good stuff. And I like your idea of like a basic little tier down there, because when I see that someone has, 325 first and like a couple seconds, shows the high activity. So in which case, again, that makes me want draft picks. More than in a low activity one. So Roro, thank you for the hammer. This is a 10-team super flex PPR 1.5 for the tight end, start 10. Did I literally just do this? Seems like the exact same format. Purdy, Love, Darnold at quarterback, Gibbs, Jacobs at running back, CD, Ayuk, Downs, Diggs, Tolbert at wide receiver, Ferguson at tight end. First year in, traded away my 25 first and Rice to get Gibbs. Currently 5-2. Not sure if I can compete and trade to replace Ayuk or trade away Diggs and get some picks. So 12-team Superflex, PPR, start 10. So kind of mid-road depth here. 5-2 with this team. The specific question, it seems like, is traded away his 25 first and Rice to get Gibbs. What do you do? Do you lean into it?
Here's the thing. You already leaned into it when you gave up your first and Rashee Rice for Gibbs. I mean, Rashee Rice is the asset that when I lose a guy like Rice, I'm never going to recoup the Rashee Rice top 7 dynasty receiver value, but I've already committed to what can I replace him with? You know what I mean? Same with Ayuk. He's never going to get back to what he was. You have to face it. You're selling the stock at 70%, 80%, whatever it is. I don't love tacking my first onto Rashee Rice to get a single player, even in a start 10. But since you've already made that move, what are you going to do? Trading Stephon Diggs for picks, you're not getting a first. So you're trading him for a second and a third, something like that. And the problem is you have guys like Jordan Love and Gibbs and Jacobs and Ferguson. I mean, you can't go the other way. You're 5-2. What's the worst you can get? 105, and you don't even have your pick. Exactly. So I think you've backed yourself in a corner. You got to trade Ayuk for, I don't know. Can you add to Ayuk and get could you get Jaden Reed? Something like that.
Exactly. I mean, you could either go running back or wide receiver, but basically you just need points. If you're at this point. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you're right. So yes, Jaden Reed would be glorious. And so I don't see any seconds or whatever, but
I hate to beat it on you, Roa, but I don't love that Rashee Rice in my first for Gibbs, because not only did it take away your second best asset, probably second or third best asset, but you also pot committed your first in the same deal. Man, I mean, Godspeed. Hopefully Jahmyr Gibbs stays healthy. Because if he doesn't, now you're taking a loss on him if you're trying to move him, and you're cooked. So just I don't love that move, but
yeah,
what's
just
done is
stay
done.
active. Yeah, exactly. What's done is done. Stay active, giddy up, just try to recoup it on the next trade. So Brett Robinson, we just have two more here. 2 hammers from him. Thank you very much. 12-team Superflex, PPR, no tight end premium, a big point per carry here. So 0.25 for every rush attempt. And this is a start 10. We have Lamar. Oh, he is such a effing monster in this format. Good Lord. Well, at every format, but Jesus. Lamar, Stroud, May at quarterback. Aaron Jones, Dobbins, and Trash at running back. CD, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, BTJ, Flowers, and then has Hawkinson and Joku and Kraft at tight end. 225 firsts and 2 seconds. Mine and the team in second. Okay. I'm 7-0. Spend on running back to solidify this team for the playoffs. One last year with this squad. Bijan owner mentioned he may be available. Also, another bottom team as Connor and Henry. Thanks, guys. All right. Thank you. What are you doing here, Scott? 12-team Superflex. Big point per carry. Start 10.
Well, we got a lot of excess here at tight end, not a tight end premium. You can definitely use one of those tight ends to get a running back. And here's the thing, Brett, you're not going to get what you think you should get for one of those tight ends, right? Like you may have to trade
Definitely
Hawkinson
for him.
The next J.K. Dobbins is like the type of deal you'd have to do. And you're just going to have to, that is one of the outs though that you have. You know what? I'm not panicking on running back. Aaron Jones just scored like 14 points last night? Something. I mean, you're good. As long as Dobbins stays healthy, you've survived another week. The team is 7-0. Like, sure, Bijan could come available, but do I want to blow all my flexibility on Bijan on a 7-0 team? You know what I mean?
You got 225 first. It's just like,
and this is where, to everybody out there listening, this is where the nuances of what does your league market look like? Do you have a trade deadline? If I have a team like this, I have a couple teams that are undefeated like this. Do you know what I'm not doing? I literally will tell people. Right? No, I'll just tell people a guy's trying to sell me. I'm in a 12 by 13 league right now. Okay. The guy's trying to sell me Kareem Hunt. Like there's nobody else to buy him. And I basically and it's Kareem Hunt. It's not, a tier better than that, but he's a little frustrated because I'm like, dude, I don't need him this week. I want him. I'd love to add him to my team, but then I would put him on the bench and I'm still starting 2 or 3 other guys over him. And I'm just like, I don't need him this week. And every time I win, if I'm 8-0, 9-0, and I'm like, here, I'll give you a 4th. And he's
exactly.
Like, no, I need a 3rd. And I go, fine. Yeah. I'll wait it out 2 more weeks. And at that point, he may get nothing. You know what I mean? So it's up against. So when you're 7-0 and you have a team like this, you're probably going to have to make 1 or 2 moves to bring home the ship. But I'm not blowing all my picks on one player today and hoping that player is the positional advantage guy, especially if I know there's going to be a deal. Maybe it's a different player, but there's going to be a deal in 2 or 3 weeks where I can get the same thing done. I just don't need to do it.
Pete plays 18. So we got a golfer here, 3 hammers. Thank you very much. And this is actually going to get us completely caught up on the hammers on buymeacoffee.com. There's more to come, but that site is paused. We're going to have a very free form some super chats or whatever, but conversation for our live stream next Tuesday. We're not going to ram through hammers. We're going to wrap Dynasty. Thank you very much, Pete. So this is a 10-team Superflex PPR, no tight end premium start 9. So again, a shallow format. Burrow, Purdy, Darnold, Fields at quarterback, Walker, Najee, Brooks, Mason, Brown, Spears, and Tracy at running back. Marv, Puka, Garrett Wilson, DK, Pickens at wide receiver. Then Njoku, Pitts at tight end. 225 seconds and 126 first. 4 and 3. Pete plays 18, wants to compete for the ship. Which potential trade do you like better for this, shallow format? Give Puka and Wilson, you're getting Amon-Ra, or give Pickens, Brooks, Tracy, and Burton, you're getting Bijan and Keenan Allen. This is a low activity league, so this might be, few and far between shot here. I sent I sent in my team and asked for some direction when I was 2 and 3. Most of the hammer buys are on contending teams. Makes sense. Okay, Scott. So very shallow format here. Which of these trades do you prefer, if any? Giving Puka and Garrett Wilson, getting Amon-Ra, or giving Pickens, Brooks, Tracy, getting Bijan and Keenan Allen?
Well, it's definitely not the first one. And I'm sure this question was submitted. Nobody thought Puka was going to be back in week 8. And
exactly.
do what he did. So clearly this trade is outdated at this point, and that's okay. That's not Pete's fault. The second deal, like, that should have already been accepted. It's Jonathan Brooks and Pickens for Bijan. That in a 12 by 12, I might take the Pickens and Jonathan Brooks side, but in a 10 by 9 where your team is already kind of good, but not like dominant anywhere, adding Bijan to that team, I'm totally fine doing that deal.
Yeah.
And I'm getting Keenan Allen for free, who actually could slide in for the Pickens spot that I currently am kind of waiting for my, second flex or what, you know what I mean? Like Keenan Allen's not a nothing. So yeah, doing that deal all day.
Yeah. He gave us 3 hammers. What if it were, Scott, you're giving Puka and Garrett Wilson, you're getting JJ? It's still not, huh?
It's still not the type of deal I want to do, just because I think you're trading away. I mean, are either of those guys JJ? No, but they're both top 15, top 10. Like that's not what we typically mean when we say upgrading for a hammer, because if you looked at kind of where like the war graph would start to dip, George Pickens and a first for an upgrade is okay, because you're trading the Pickens range. You're trading more away from what you can expect to be the replaceability. And I like Pickens. Like I like having Pickens on a team when I'm forced to play him, because I just live with the highs and lows. You know what I mean? But yeah, that second deal is way more favorable than the first one. And mostly because someone is willing to do a 4 for 2
in a
10 by 9. They have to have Tyrone Tracy and Jermaine Burton, which I'm looking at those going, cool. I can probably replace those guys off waivers with 2 other players, and I didn't give up anything. So
right. Pete plays 18. Thank you very much for the 3 hammers. Thank you very much, Scott Connor, and the 780 eyeballs currently watching 47 minutes in. Have a lovely Friday evening. Good luck this weekend. Scott, you want to say bye?
Yeah, bye to everybody. Appreciate y'all. It's nice to do a Friday stream. It's a little different feel from the Tuesday night streams. Tuesdays are probably my busiest day of the week. So, jumping right on the stream, that's a lot of times why it seems like we're a couple of minutes late and we're kind of scrambling. But this is nice. Kind of end of the week, talk some Dynasty trades. Appreciate everybody. Good luck in week 8. Continue to grind. We'll see you next stream. Thanks.
Sounds good. See you Tuesday.